first met Maia because she was the baby sister, the younger sister of a very good friend of mine. And the good friend, Deb, Maia's older sister, was extraordinary in one aspect. And Maia, I met and immediately sensed this incredible vitality that was different in her sister, but as extraordinary again. The thing that struck me really about Maia was her youthfulness. Even though she was clearly a person of many years, she was just so youthful and so vital and so ready to listen and so ready to learn and so ready to absorb new things.
Maia's the most dynamic person I know, which for a 94-year-old is, a 95 almost, is amazing. She doesn't stop. She loves doing everything and anything that she can and never says no. And that means that she enjoys going to the theatre and the ballet and the opera at every opportunity, but also going out into the park and just seeing a leaf and seeing a bird. I've never known anyone to be as aware of their body as much as Maia is. I don't know which one came first, whether she became aware of her body and therefore enjoyed dancing, and then that moved on to enjoyment of the exercises, or whether she has become aware through the fact that she's been a professional dancer and then she's been so enthusiastic and so committed to the body. But her mother was an exercise teacher, and a very well-known one, and I gather that her mother really promoted her exercises and involved her whole life with exercises. I mean, she left Maia with their father and the other girls in order to go to Paris and be an exercise teacher. So I think she's always been aware of her body in that respect.
My mother met Isadora Duncan in when we were in Geneva, Switzerland, 10. And she was so taken by her that she was so inspired that she decided that she was going to be a teacher of movement, not dance, but movement, and physiologically correct and aesthetically satisfying. And she went to later on when she got to Paris, she went to the Academy of Medicine in Paris and studied anatomy, physiology, biology, and the functioning of the body. And she watched also nature and infants in their cribs, the way they build their body to walk by kicking their feet all the time. They're just going towards their body, away from the body, towards the body. And that's how they build their back and their strength and their abdominals to be able to walk when they are a year old. No one teaches them. And so she devised this exercise called throwing the feet towards your chest and, throwing them, because it's very important for the tummy and the back. And then she looked at wildlife and she realized that they all start the movement from the pelvis. This is your basement and this is your roof. And the roof is always passive, sort of, passive in the sense that it doesn't do too many things, the top. And she devised these exercises that are natural, physiologically correct, and that the body needs. It's an art to exercise properly because you guide your body with your brain, with the knowledge that you have. So my mother was decorated by the city of Paris and the Faculty of Medicine for her work when she showed it, when she was teaching in Paris at that wonderful Marignan building. And then she had many important clients because she was so regal. She was very, important looking. And she had the Rothschild, the Princess Aga Khan, and they brought her other people, and the Duchesse the so-and-so, La Princesse the so-and-so. She was very, she was a little snobbish. I mean, she wanted, because she was raised in that milieu in Russia, she was raised in a very sort of, they were very rich. Her father was a landowner and dealing with wood. And in Paris she became quite known, and she taught men and women I decided to teach only women because American men like to do their sports, and they don't necessarily need so much as women. Women need all those exercises very much because they shouldn't do stupid things. They have to be graceful, they have to be strong. And I decided to teach her work in New York rather than dance, which there are many dance teachers, but very few good exercise teachers who understand the need of the body. So I'm very pleased with what I did. The rhomboids are very, very important, and no other teacher in America talks about the rhomboids. They say, you know, tighten the buttocks, and they say, you know, this and that and the other for the strength of the body. But her work is very unique and special. The rhomboids are the posture exercise. So you have one for the right shoulder blade and one for the left shoulder blade, and the muscles are right in the upper back. When you contract with your brain, you decide to contract in that area right here. Both muscles work to the center, millimeters only, but it changes the posture. The rib cage goes up and the shoulders go down, and you're not doing it. It's because you're contracting the rhomboids, and the chin has to be sort of in towards the back, it's a great strength, and you have to build them up gradually. They cannot immediately start contracting strong enough. So you do it every day. You contract with your brain, and then you let go, and you do it as often as you feel like it. And when you walk in the street, you do it. But it's off and on, the contraction and then letting go. And then the buttocks have to contract, and they do when you walk, that automatically. But the rhomboids are not automatic. You have to direct it with your brain. But the willpower of your brain and your personality is very, very important, because you guide your body. And you have to, little by little, the muscle gets stronger, and then it's easier. The moment, you know, you do it immediately without thinking too much about it, automatically. But in the beginning, it isn't automatic. You have to really make it happen. So it's a fascinating part of exercise, is the rhomboids. And you go to a club, no one ever mentions it. They just 1, 2, 1, 2, you know, that kind of mechanical movement. It's not, doesn't hurt, but it doesn't really help.
I went to have an exhibition in New York, and then Maia invited me to stay. And first morning, she had me on the ground doing the isometric exercises. And really, we did them every single day. And within a week, I just felt so rejuvenated. Even though I was jet lagged and I'd travelled to America and I was working very hard when I got there, I was felt so good and so sort of clear, if you like. And so not only physically agile, but it helped me mentally wake myself up. Not in the day, but I just mean get myself alert, and I was more alert from doing them.
Maia's exercises they're very kind on the body, and I think they do work in incredibly subtle ways, and actually it's very important that one does do the subtle things that she points out, such as clenching your rhomboids at the right time and holding your leg in the right position. And yoga does encourage that, but it's a lot harder on my body than her exercises, and her exercises are just as strengthening. So the exercises are all done on the floor mostly, and they focus very much on, from my perspective, from awakening the spine first of all, which I have found, which I do every morning now, and I found as being one of the things that mostly affects how my day progresses actually. And so from the spine, then it moves on to strengthening other parts of your body. But a lot of it is moving them in order to strengthen, not necessarily something that is exhausting. But you do gain a lot of strength from them, and I know that because Maya's been doing them for a lot longer than I have, and she's a lot better at doing 20 sit-ups in a row than I am. In fact, I sometimes can't complete them and she carries on.
So as everybody knows, that if you do something with a slight bit of discipline, it makes your whole day better, it makes you organise yourself better. But really it's these which are so simple, and no need for the gym, no need for anything. It's a floor that you need, and a slightly, you know, and a slightly padded yoga mat or a blanket, and just your wits about you to remember all the points. But it's just really knowing Maya, knowing the exercises, and I know actually as I get older, I'm 52 now, as I get older, I'll be applying them more, because Maya said really, you know, 50, 55, you've really got to start doing them, and you can't rely on your body sort of providing you, your youthful body providing you with the energy and the clarity of things. And so really it's in essence, I know as I get older, she's sort of teaching me really, hopefully, how to grow old gracefully and fit and well.
Expressing the impact that the exercises have on my body isn't something that I'm going to be good at, because I'm not an exercise teacher, I'm not an athlete. But I only know how they feel on to me, and the impact that they've had on my life. And I just wish people would try them, and maybe just do them once or do them for a week, and then see the impact that they have on your everyday life.
In Paris, at the time that I came in 1927, when we came to Paris, and I started my official dance lessons, because I did a little bit of dancing in Palestine, but it was not ballet. And so when she signed me with her, they were the baby ballerinas. You're too young to know about them, but they were chosen young girls that were very talented and taught for nothing. And then they were so special, they became soloists in the Russian ballet at that time, and they were very famous, and they were called the baby ballerinas because they were young. You know, they were in a big part at 15. That's young. I didn't have that. I was dancing in a corps de ballet in the opera, and they were chosen creatures. The teacher, you know, hovered over them, just 3 girls, that's all, 3 girls. It was Baronova, well, I can't think of their names now, but never mind. They were just 3 girls that were the beloved of the teacher, because they were so talented and so young. And went on stage in a big part at 15. I did not go on a big part. I just earned a living at 15. I did whatever, you know, whatever the ballet. I mean, it was a part of the group. But they were the soloists of the Russian ballet at 15. You know what that means? In those days, 1930.
But who was the teacher?
Preobrazhenska. There you can see her picture. Olga Preobrazhenska. You see there? That woman on the book. Kevin loaned it to me.
And what was she like?
She liked me. I don't know why, but she liked me, and she was nice to me. She took us to see Pavlova, just the last performance before she died of pneumonia. And we were only 5 girls she chose, the baby ballerinas and me. I mean, I was with the baby ballerinas, and she, because I was very gentle, you know, I was very shy, and I had a nice figure, and I did very well in class. I mean, I was, you know, I was a good dancer. I was not a great dancer, of course not, but I was a good dancer for my age. Not like the baby ballerinas. They could do many turns and many things, but still it was, and I was very tall. That was not good. The others were like this to me. They came to me here. So I had the parts of the boys. I did boys' parts. They didn't have men dancers at the time. They had only female dancers. And so I did parts of boys. I jumped very high. I turned very much. But I didn't have the, you know, the elegance of the female now who just go like that with their leg. I didn't have that. Because I was like a boy, very tight here and very straight. No pelvis. Anyway, but then when I became 16, we had a party, or 17, I can't remember, 16, and the people came to me and they said, Maia, you were an ugly duckling and look at you now. Because I was really ugly as a child. They say I wasn't, but I know I was. I had black freckles and carrot red hair that went in all directions like that. And the boys would go at school, you know, when in Palestine, they would go like that to another boy. Isn't she ugly? That's what I had when I was young. I was only 8 or 9. I mean, it was very, because I came to Paris when I was 11. And then my life changed very drastically. But when my mother was celebrated my one of my birthdays when I was a teenage, right? Everybody said, Maia, what happened to you? I mean, imagine. I couldn't even see myself. You don't see yourself anyway. You don't see yourself. Only others can see you. So it was a sort of a transformation. My mother bought me a green velvet dress. My first dress that I ever got, I got, you know, what is the call when you get it from your older sisters?
Hand-me-down.
Hand-me-downs. I lived on hand-me-down. It's funny. And then my life became so glamorous. I can't tell you how glamorous. When I was 16, and I was in Paris. I had a son of a senator who had a crush on me. And so he got the tickets from his father and we went to the opera. And I told you, I think, that. We went to the opera in a box. And you know how the boxes are in Paris, maybe you don't know. They're like that, like a tunnel. And then the first 2 can see, and the last 3 can't see anything in back. They're all like that. So there was this 2 ladies, one younger, you know, youngish, like 28, but I was only 15, 16, and her aunt, and the very gallant boy that I was with me, we agreed to give our seats, first row and second row, to the ladies after intermission, so that we can be in back, because we can stand and see everything. They were so touched, they invited us at the Café de la Paix for an ice cream, and I became a lifelong friend of Margit, the young one, not the aunt who died very shortly after, but she was married to a millionaire, the beer millionaire, and she gave me all her beautiful clothes. When she bought a new thing, she would give me her beautiful thing. And I felt so incredibly, having those gorgeous clothes, Chanel and Balenciaga and all the great couturiers of the time, that I could wear them. I was tall, don't forget, for my age. And I was, well, I don't know, I was very lucky. I was dancing in New Radio City Music Hall, a very good job. And I had my makeup because we had 4 shows a day. And I went for the audition for the audition of dance, between, when the film plays, you're off. So, and I used to practice my piano, you know, I was a pianist. Because every child of a pianist has to be a musician, you can't not be a musician. I went to the audition with my false eyelashes and my makeup and my nice hair, and they immediately hired me for the corps de ballet. You know, I had little parts, like every dancer has little moments where she does something just special that goes with her talent. But I was not a star, never the ballerina, because I was much too tall. I was 5'7". You can't be 5'7" as a dancer, and because you can't find a partner. I went to the theater first. I did a little theater for 4 years, and it was absolutely the most delicious experience.
But you got picked as an actress because of your long red hair.
Oh no, that was when I danced in France and in England with a group that was started by a woman who collected 10 beautiful girls with long hair till here. They were mostly blonde because they were from Scandinavia and Norwegian and Scandinavian. And I was the only one that was, you say Russian? My parents were Russian. And I was French because I studied in the lycée in Paris. And I played Juliet, and it was I fell madly in love with my Romeo. He didn't care for me. He was much younger. I was 30. You know, in those days that was old. But I was slender, and I taught in exchange. I taught movement to the student, of acting at Piscata School. So I didn't have to pay for my tuition. And I got parts because I was one of the students. It was just right for me. It was really, I had good diction, you see, and I had a good moderated voice. And it was just a lark to do Juliet. Twelfth Night, the comedy of Shakespeare, I was Olivia, and I loved that too, because she's, I don't know, she's a funny person, right? They always said I had a quality. Well, you know, a quality is nice. A quality, it's a part of your personality, right? So that was helpful. You know, it was a school, but we performed. We had 2 theaters, one on 48th Street off Broadway and one on 2nd Avenue. And the students had to do the setting, the costumes, everything. They were working very hard. All the famous actors came from there, of my time.
Like who?
Walter Matthau, he became a big movie star, and you know, the names are so difficult to remember. But
did you teach Walter Matthau?
The what?
Did you teach Walter Matthau?
Walter Matthau became a very successful actor.
But did you teach him to dance?
No, not to dance. I taught movement.
Ah.
Gymnastic and movement, but not dance as such, not steps.
Or more like modern dance?
Well, like learning how to use your body. Because on stage you have to use your body, you have to be graceful, you have to be right for the part.
Was he a good student?
No, but we did scenes together, and he made me laugh all the time, and I loved that. We did, you know, you had to practice scenes for the lesson. You chose your partner, and you made a scene. So from a play, a scene from a play. So we had a very good time, and then also the beautiful one that became a star, and he was called Bernie Schwartz. But his name on stage was, brunette with the beautiful blue-green eyes. What? Tony Curtis. He became Tony Curtis. They changed his name in Hollywood, and he became a very big star. And then the girls, Elaine Stritch became a big star too, on the theater, not necessarily in Hollywood. And I thought she was so talented, because in 12th Night she was the jester, and she did it in such a way that it was extraordinary theater. Jester, you know, with very good sense of humor. She has a sense of timing, she has everything. And now she's a neighbor of mine here, and we are friends, still. And when she acts, she always gives me a ticket to go and see her. And she's very, very talented. And she's 85 now. And I'm in my 90s, right? Well, we are very simpatical, very, because I admire her acting and her kindness. She's a kind person, and that's very important. And she's when I start giving her a compliment, she says, "Enough of that. I don't want to hear about that." She doesn't want to, because I sort of want her to get the next good job so I can go and see her. And so I have good friends. I have these friends in Provincetown that I met. One I met at the Metropolitan Museum, and I invited her right away to come to lunch with her girlfriend, and we became friends because we talked in front of the paintings, and we loved the painting together, and we sympathized as women as well. I don't like to say it, I have a knack for meeting people because I like people.